Hello, everybody, and welcome to Telling Tales. Here we tell atmospheric stories together through the medium of tabletop role-playing games. You are joining us for the first episode of Vaesen Mythic Britain, which I've been very excited to get and run since it was announced. It's another game from Fria Ligan, and it's based on the original Vaesen game, which is set in the Nordic mythic north. It's 19th century folkloric Victoriana horror, which if you've seen me run things before, you'll know is right up my street. The rule system is a D6 pool system, very similar to most of the other Fria Ligan games. So attribute plus skill is the number of d6 that you roll, and if you get a 6, that is a success. Additional 6s are additional successes. It's kind of sort of a monster of the week thing, because the investigations typically don't take too long, but with a bit of a darker tone to the actual game monster of the week, or at least it will be the way that I'm planning to run it. Other stuff, links are below the stream for our YouTube if you're watching on Twitch, or Twitch if you're watching on YouTube, our social media, our Discord, which you should come and join and chat to us on. There are lots of nice people in there, and us, and also our Patreon, which if you want to support the channel, you can subscribe on there and get rewards in return. Other things we do on the channel, Wednesday nights are Simba Room, and the first Saturday, no, it's not the first Saturday of the month anymore. One weekend in the month, typically, we have a one-shot. The next, I think, is Saturday the 22nd of October, and that is Cyborg, which is the sort of cyberpunky Morkborg new game, which should be really fun. Check out the social media or join us on the Discord for up-to-date info on all of that stuff. Cool. So, a dreary October morning in the mid-19th century. Drizzle, cold wind and cloud outside the windows. A train rackets north towards Lancashire, and a group of 5 misfits who somehow all seem to fit a theme sit together. They all sit and think back to the events of yesterday in London. Let's bring John on. Hi, John.
Hi, Jonny.
You're playing Beatrice. Would you like to
Yes.
tell us a little about Beatrice as she sits on this train?
Beatrice is sort of off the grid, has kind of turned away from the recent industrialization of the country and lives in the forest with her son, basically living from forest to plate, occasionally selling extra game and some forageables to a nearby village. On the whole, fairly, self-sufficient as much as possible.
Cool. So, Beatrice thinks back to yesterday evening in London. You are in the street, walking through the street near Newgate Prison. And as you are walking down the street, there are sort of a few other people there. You see a woman walk up to the front of a house. And from a small hole in the brickwork, you see a creature that resembles a toad dressed in dark grey clothing sort of scurry its way out of this hole in the brickwork. You see a short exchange take place between the two of them, and there seems to be an item passed to the woman, who then turns around and immediately sees that you are looking. And you notice that she sees you, And also you see her sort of head dart around, and if you follow her eyes, you see that the other 4 people that are in the street are also all looking at her, and she looks incredibly surprised that you are all stopping to pay her any attention. Let's bring Inga on. Please, John. Hi, Inga. You are playing Constance Kirk. Tell us about Constance.
So she is kind of early to mid 40s. She is quite severe. She's got a bit of resting bitch face, to be perfectly honest. That's just, not a smiley kind of character. Very modestly dressed, even for the times. And she is a nun. She's not in her kind of habit. She's in traveling clothes and so on. But yes, so very modestly dressed and very much keeping to herself. Doesn't travel, travels fairly light and so on. Yeah.
Okay. So the group of you that were in the street are taken into a stone building, which is 3 floors. And as you head towards the front door, you see a plaque that says Rose House. You are taken up to the first floor by this woman who you saw in the street, and into a lounge furnished with sofas and armchairs. And a man dressed, you would say, like a butler, comes in and pours everyone a drink. She turns, the woman, and another man walks into the room, and she says, "Very pleased to meet you. I am Eleanor Blakely. This is my brother-in-law, Sir Rupert Merriweather. What exactly is it that you think you saw?"
One of them.
Huh.
Something that was none of my business until you brought me in here.
I like you. I like her, Rupert. Can we bring Sam on, please, John? Hey, Sam.
Hey, Jonny. Get me all excited with the intro. Sorry.
Tell us about Magnus Huxley.
Yeah, so Magnus Huxley, Hux to people who know him, is a gruff, big, chunky, old vagabond. So he's mid-50s, and he's had a hard life. He's kind of got scars and nicks on his face. He's balding, grey hair, what little remains, kind of just stubble and bits of roughly cut and shaven beard. And he wears a big old, absolutely torn to shreds jacket and scraps of clothing. He's certainly not a wealthy man, and carries in one hand a walking stick and the other hand perpetually carries a crowbar. That's Magnus. I think he's probably here coming to Newgate Prison to greet one of his fellow inmates who he spent some time in Newgate Prison a while back, and he knows someone who's coming out. But this has sadly taken him away from meeting someone coming out of there.
Okay. Rupert takes over the conversation at this point. Yes, we are members of a group. We call ourselves the Apollonian Society. And, well, my sister-in-law here believes all of you to be Thursday's children, so I'm taking her word for it. You've all seen something, I presume. Before this evening, I mean. And, well, we attempt to maintain relations between them and us where possible. And
there's like a chuckle and cough.
Are you? Please have a drink. And otherwise, we deal with them as necessary. If my sister-in-law here is correct, and you do have this particular gift, we would like to invite you to become members, if you would be so willing. He then looks at Hux specifically and says, "It does come with the house." And he kind of looks around the room. And Hawkins there. He nods to the butler.
I look around the house a bit and just go, "That was a right pretty speech you gave. Lots of long words, them. Not much fan of words, me, though. Words don't mean a lot, as far as I see it."
Does a house?
Not a bad place, I suppose.
Let's bring Steve on. Steve, you are playing Henry Bonneville, a private detective.
I am, yes.
Tell us a little about Henry.
Okay. Sorry. Oh, thank you, John. That was going to bug me. Yes. So Henry is in his late 30s. He's, wearing an overcoat over a suit. The suit is a bit worn. It's not. It's seen a fair bit of use. He carries some sort of like satchel or briefcase style thing. He does have some fairly recent scars to his face and arms. They're sort of the healing okay, but he's obviously been in the wars fairly recently. They look maybe sort of animal in nature, so he's recovering from that. I guess looking slightly mystified at the group of people around him. And
Rupert continues. An old friend by the name Inspector Bertram Bonds has requested some assistance from the Society. He's definitely much more the type to, try to solve an issue with his truncheon rather than his brain. So, against things where physical force may not be much help, well, Radcliffe Tower in Lancashire. It's in his area. The owner, as I understand, was planning to have some building work done to it, but his workmen at first complained of strange things going on, things moving from where they'd been left, fires starting, things like that. And then, one by one, they were killed. Well, I mean to say, some quit once the death toll was high enough to be clearly not coincidence. The inspector sent some of his lads to spend a night there, keep an eye, Anyway, they never came back. With two areas on the stone floor that looked like pools of blood that had been mopped up, apparently.
As soon as the word death toll was said, I place my hands over the small child with me's ears. And I'm very glad I did it as soon as we start talking about pools of blood.
First thing tomorrow, we can put you on a train to Manchester, and then you can charter a carriage to Radcliffe. You should be there by your evening meal, and we'll send ahead for rooms booking for you. I'm sure it's not the most appetizing proposition, but, we've other work at the moment, and we're struggling to see a way to fit this in. It's a final twist of fate that we find you now.
You said relations or dealing with these things. I sincerely
Yes.
don't mean relations here. Relationship building.
The members of the society that are tasked with particular things, we trust to deal with as they see appropriate.
There is
I
really one.
imagine that the appropriate course of action here may be dealing with
Very well.
whatever guise that takes.
Sort of sounds like someone's already living in that hall.
Perhaps so. I'm afraid that we have some urgent business to attend to, as I was saying. You are free to stay here and discuss. If you wish for Hawkins to leave the room and give you some privacy, he will be happy to oblige. We will return here in the morning. If you are here, we will presume you are interested, and if you are not, we will presume you are not. And there will be no hard feelings either way. Very pleasant to meet you all. His sister-in-law gives Beatrice especially a smile, but everybody. And let's bring Justin on.
Hey.
Hey, Justin. You are playing Gale Mosling Forcemark.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a bit about Gale.
Gale's he's a travel writer in some ways, but non-fiction. Really interested in the nitty-gritty of travel, how we get about, and all the rest of it. He's been working on this book for some time, but he has had bad luck running into all kinds of strange and perturbing things on the road, and that's always things that just get in the way of the important work of writing this book.
And here's another one to add to the list.
Exactly. I was in London to buy a new camera to document signs, postage, and milestones, and now I've been roped into this whole thing.
As the other two leave the room, Hawkins kind of looks expectantly over towards you all to see whether you would like him to leave the room or if you require anything else.
Constance will just wave her hand, just very casually dismissing him away out of the room.
He goes, and it's like a double door, and you hear the two doors click closed.
The reason that Mosling hasn't said anything during that conversation is because the entire time he's been fiddling with bits of the camera, trying to press a door in the camera back together that the spring just won't go. And it's been rattling lightly through the whole thing. And he's been, but yeah.
So, what's this all about then? None of you are peelers, are you?
No.
Hux is looking vaguely threatening and somewhat shocked at the fact that someone's just given them a house, apparently. Sort of vaguely backing away towards the door, totally mistrusting of the situation.
Are you looking around to see how much silver there is?
Yeah, totally looking at the room as well. Is there anything particularly valuable in here, Jonny?
There are sort of, candelabras and stuff. You're not sure whether they're silver, but
you know what?
they're nice.
I will actually start rummaging through some drawers if there's anything like that. Given that Constance already dismissed the the butler.
Haven't I seen you before? I'm sure I've seen you on the London to Brighton train.
No.
He says towards Huxley.
I don't respond.
Hux, you do realize that if you take this job, you're effectively stealing from yourself.
Right, fine, I'll leave it. Just thought if something comes up on the way, we might need something to pawn, eh? You know, food or
That
bit of
is
drink
not
or
the
whatever.
way.
You never know what comes up, eh? Fine, whatever. I'll leave it. I like put back what's like it's just a gnarly iron knife. It's nothing interesting at all. Back in the cupboard.
So, if the 5 of us have been offered a job, we should probably know each other's names. I'm B. This is Adam.
Is this really appropriate for a child?
Well, he's here now.
She just looks a bit, not quite disgusted, but she finds the idea of a child here involved in this a little bit distasteful.
I'm Ux, as she said.
Right.
I'm
Mosling Forsyth. I think if I can get this
Forsyth?
damn door. Force mark, sorry. My brain's nowhere. I don't know why I said that. Mosling Force mark.
Character thing or just a slip up?
Just a thing.
I'm Henry Bonneville. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing here, to be honest.
Sister Constance.
I've pulled like a small like sweet wrapped in some wax paper out, and I'm just like handing it to Adam. There you go, lad. Something to get you through this strange time we're in, eh? What are you doing in London anyway, B? Not really your sort of place.
Had me in front of the courts, didn't they? Thought they
What
got
for?
me for poaching.
Crooked, I bet. Always crooked. I've been in 3 times. Never done it.
You suggested there was something living in this house. I think it is probably fair to say that something has invaded this house. I think we should be very clear about the facts. The home is who it belongs to. It sounds like something needs to be got rid of.
Look, step back. Wait a minute. We all saw, right? So we know what we're talking about. You said it. Constance, was it? Others.
Sister Constance.
Sister, right. Sorry. Others. They don't fit. Other folk don't see them. That's what we're talking about here, right? What,
Yes.
so you all can see?
I mean, I saw something outside, but I'm sorry, I'm not really feeling myself. I was attacked by something in the woods a few weeks ago. I've not been feeling so right since. What was that?
Do we know what that was, Johnny? The small creature? Is it something we'd be familiar with? Or?
I don't think any of you have seen it based on the information that you've given me. Mm-hmm. So no, but it's like some of you who have seen sort of quite nasty things potentially didn't look nasty, and they look to have, this woman seems relatively normal apart from the fact that she's also seeing these things, and she seemed to be having a reasonably pleasant sort of, conversation with it, interaction.
I'll just say, no idea. Ain't seen one before. Come think of it, I ain't ever been with so many folks who can see these things before.
It's just reassuring to know that it's not just me. I will be going. It'll be a good chance to travel across the country. And where are we off to? Manchester. Yes. Yes, there's a lot of research to do there. I will be going. If you go also, that would be good.
I mean, if there's a job in it, I could certainly do with the.
Oh yes, pay. Yeah, that would be
funds.
good too.
Hey, we could go get that butler. Maybe there is pay in it, eh? More than. Do you really think we're getting a house?
It seems overly generous.
I think the house is perhaps not just a given. It belongs to this society. It is yours to use if you are involved. Was my reading of that. I don't imagine it'd be terribly necessary. But it does seem a purpose has been put in front of us.
Anyone ever heard of the what were they?
The Apollonian Society?
We don't
Jonny,
know. Is there a check we could do?
I've never heard
Sure.
of it.
Let's do a roll on. Let's say it's learning logic. So whatever your learning skill score is, plus your logic attribute, that is how many dice you roll. So if you've got 2 in one and 4 in the other, you would roll 6. And then if you roll any 6s on those, they are successes.
Got one success.
I got 1 success.
I got 2 successes.
Nothing from me.
Gail and Constance, you have heard of them. Constance, I think you probably have thought they're some kind of cult, potentially. Gail has probably overheard people on the train. As this society, it's not secretive, but they also don't advertise its existence. So people would have a conversation on a train next to you, for example, with each other about it. But you've probably picked up little bits and bats and there are all kinds of societies in London at this time. And you probably just chalked it up as one of those, but the name did ring a bell. Henry, probably during his detective work, knows a little more about them, and is actually, was kind of aware that maybe they dealt with some supernatural stuff beforehand, before this interaction.
Okay.
Whether or not you thought that they were legitimate, like obviously,
yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Well, I'd heard the name before, but not in connection to anything. Not in connection with anything that crossed my line of work particularly.
I mean, there are many societies and groups of various types these days, but
what is your line of work, Mr. Bonneville?
I'm a private detective. I do what I can to solve cases, help the police or otherwise where I can.
Of matters involving this sort of thing.
Oh, heavens no. It's just standard crimes, the occasional murder, but nothing like this.
It seems strange that police are not involved, but then I suppose if it's already known that, well, maybe it's for the best, actually.
I reckon a fair few crimes must somehow involve others.
Yes.
Mr. Bonneville. Must be an interesting time. Must have seen some interesting stuff. Maybe stories for later.
Yes, perhaps, especially with our current company. And I will glance over to Adam, was it?
Yes.
It's not just the police that people go to when something terrible has happened. There are many who have come to the church as well. We hear a lot about these awful sorts of doings that go on with these creatures. We must stop them. There's already been many killings.
Hey, to be fair to them, though, they're not all bad. Whatever that thing outside was didn't look like it wanted to fight, did it?
Not right there in front of us. be wary.
I say nothing but give Constance a very firm look.
Well, I'm going to maybe call for some tea.
That seems
Good.
a good idea. Yes, why not?
I'm going to go get up and I call for some tea.
Got anything a bit stronger, eh?
You're on mute, Mr. Butler.
The door opens. Tea
And,
And
some
something a
liquor.
bit stronger.
Sounds very good.
Sounds like a yes.
And
Do you have you don't happen to have a room that he could bathe in, do you?
Yes, of course. Yes, rooms have been prepared for each of you for the evening.
I hope you're talking about the lad.
Mr. Huxley,
Are
I
you
do
talking
not
about my
intend
lad?
to share a carriage with you if you smell like that the entire way.
I just cross my arms and stand to full height and go, well, you better walk then, aren't you?
The rooms are prepared either way. I shall be back momentarily with beverages. Hawkins is a man who you would guess is in his late 20s, nicely dressed in a sort of, a butler's sort of formal attire. He closes the doors and returns mere moments later with a large tray on which he is carrying enough for tea for 5 and enough for alcoholic drinks for 5. He presumes that Magnus won't want both and everybody else may have either. But obviously Adam wouldn't be having the alcoholic beverage. He presumes. And he places the tray down and kind of looks at each of you in turn with a hand pointing at the teapot or it's probably brandy he's brought in, I think.
I think in 1860, it would generally be expected that kids wouldn't drink tea either. Because I think that's around the period they thought that tea also had vaguely intoxicating properties to it.
Which it clearly
Yeah,
does.
that may have been earlier, but I think it was like early Victorian.
But would B allow her child to drink either of them? To Sister Constance's dismay. Unclear. That will be all.
Unclear.
Actually, no. Hawkins, have you heard anything of this strange Radcliffe disappearance?
I'm sure only the same as you as a group have been advised of. Sir Merriweather received an urgent communique from his friend the inspector, and I believe everything that was in that has been relayed to yourselves this evening.
Right. Thank you.
And Hawkins, can you see him? The others?
Oh, yes, sir, yes. For many years now.
What do you think of them, Hawkins?
My opinion varies. There is a non-zero number of them who I approve of. Will that be all?
Thank you.
He goes out and quite professionally, as you would expect, closes both doors simultaneously as you see him backing away.
I'll perhaps, if anyone else is anyone else going to pour the tea, or
Oh,
Anyway,
he's gone
Oh,
round
he's
and
done it.
he's gone
Okay,
round and
excellent.
poured everybody a drink basically
Great.
before he's left.
Well, I will take my my cup of tea and perhaps sort of pace around the room, maybe looking. I don't know whether there are any sort of books here or pictures or whatnot, but I'll be studying the place. Looking around, checking what
Yes,
there's to see.
there are a couple of portraits on the wall. 3 sort of ranging from 150 years ago to slightly more recent. People that you don't recognize the names of. You could put a guess in that they were previous members of the society or people of importance to the society, but they're not names that you recognize. There is a Bible sort of left askew on one of the sideboards. And a number of sets of sort of glasses and chinaware and stuff in a cabinet. Nothing in this room that is of a huge sort of, oh my god, look at this. But it's certainly it's a nicely appointed room with some points of interest that are not hugely, mind-blowing.
Okay.
And the only doors to the room are the ones that you've come in through.
Well, we've all seen these sorts of things then. Does anybody have any ideas about or seen something similar to what was described?
No. Very surprising.
I mean, I can think of a lot of anything that would probably be fairly upset if a bunch of workmen came in and tried rebuilding their house around them. Don't think I'd take kindly to it.
The owner invited those workmen in to work on his home.
How do you know the current tenant wasn't there first?
They almost certainly were. Heard of this sort of thing happening with others before. Most can't see them. Inevitable, isn't it?
Look, I'm not going to go up there and act as some rich twat's bailiff, but
This thing has killed many people.
When you fight for your own, someone just came and tried to take it from you.
You're talking of murder.
Magnus doesn't flinch.
Yikes.
I'm going to start taking some. I'm going to start. I've got some notepad out, and I'm writing some things down on it.
I'm not saying they were right in it, Constance, or sister. Just there's a side. There's both sides of it, isn't there?
I think the correct thing to do is to talk it out like civilized people would. If the first thing you jump to is murder, in what world must we respond with more grace and... I'm sorry, we're talking about murder.
And how many of the others have you known that can just talk it out with anyone else?
This is my point.
Look. There's no point getting into an argument here about whether it was murder or not. We don't even know whether it was murder or not. We don't know anything about the situation. The only way to know about the situation is to go there and find out. Perhaps it is murder, and perhaps we'll have to do something about it. Perhaps there's some other explanation. The only way to know is to go, and I'm curious to know which of you intend to go.
I'm going.
Of course.
Certainly. I still really don't know much. The only thing I saw was, well, it seemed to be an animal. It seemed to be a large and vicious animal, but that's all I've seen. I don't know. I don't know what else. What is
exactly.
going on?
They're beasts and creatures of that sort of nature, more powerful than the normal types we're more used to, of course, that everybody can see, but they're not reasonable things.
For what it's worth, I'll come too. Just to see your face, if anything else, eh?
Does the boy, does he see? Do you see? Do you have the sight? Speak up. Come on. Nice and loud. Clear voice.
Go on, Adam.
That'll do, I suppose.
Mosling's quite excited to find out that he's going on a trip with people. He's not going to be alone on one of his journeys, and he's gonna arrange to set up one of those, Victorian style group photos where everyone's standing incredibly still and looking incredibly severe for the inaugural Apollonian expedition. Nice. One that will one day go in an encyclopedia of strange missed groups that would have lost the time that just went off. No one knows where these individuals ended up. But we know they left London on this date. So by the end of this process, there's going to be like that incredibly stock, unnatural pose photo of all of us. Whether you want that or not, I'm not going to roleplay just how long I'm happy about it. Does get this to happen?
Does the camera actually work though? Have you broken it already?
No, the camera works fine. Works fine.
You can roll manipulation to try and get Hux to join the picture, otherwise you won't.
Hux is just a blur.
I'm mostly doing this because I think it would be an excellent thing for
other groups to find later on.
Assets. For an asset to end up on Patreon or something. But
sorry, Johnny.
I can roll manipulation.
I'm GMing behind your back again, aren't I? I'm already doing it in the first session.
What do I? So I do this. I do the thing. I do those
manipulation
dice.
Is an actual
these
skill.
Dice.
Yeah.
And I roll.
Yeah. So manipulation, which is based on empathy, so it's your
only
manipulation
one success.
skill. I would say that succeeds.
Well, that's up to Huxley. Well, Huxley's in the photo then.
I reluctantly join the photo. Maybe I'm still a bit blurry.
There's one blurry, dangerous figure. They call him Huxley. He's the one who murdered them all, probably, because he was a reprobate.
He is. I am like 6, probably like 6'2" or 3, which for the time is pretty enormous as well. So
cool.
You hear the door to the room open, and Hawkins says, "So that's everyone then. Would you like me to draw you all baths and plenty of hot water?"
Take a flash photo of Hawkins as he's talking.
Yes, that would be lovely. Thank you.
Very well. Do you require any more drinks in the meantime, or
water?
I'll have a bottle if it's going.
He returns in short order with everything that people have asked for, and then disappears off again, closing the doors.
Off to bed. Got an early start. Or at least Constance says, you guys do what you will.
Although he doesn't admit it, Hux is actually going to go and really enjoy that bath, given it's probably been a very long time since the chance to have one.
Was there a name of this tower that we were looking for? Or no?
Radcliffe.
Radcliffe Tower. RADCLIFFE.
Can I consult my book collection for things that I might know or might be be known about Radcliffe Tower.
How many
Like,
books do you have with you?
I've got a big bag of books.
Right.
I've got like a doctor's case, but in it are books for my research on
Okay.
traveling around the country.
Sure.
Doesn't seem good for
So,
books.
if you can make me a learning roll, Justin, so that is your learning skill plus your logic attribute, number of dice.
Can I add my +1 on for my book collection?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's another thing in this. Items can give you a +1 dice roll, +1 dice in your pool if they are relevant, essentially.
So I've got 4 in learning, and 2 in learning, 4 in logic, and +1 from my book collection. So I roll 7 dice, and I got 3 successes.
Ooh, very nice. Yes, you happen to have a book with you about sort of Lancashire castles and ruins. And so you managed to find a section on Radcliffe Tower, and you see that the tower is actually a part of the manor house. In that, essentially, the whole house was originally built of stone, and then there was sort of a manor house built onto the end of it, and that in the 1400s, the owner was given a royal license to fortify the site, including adding crenellations and battlements to the tower. But that's all the information that you have. It was at least originally it was owned by a Radcliffe. So James de Radcliffe is the owner from 1403.
Then I'll pass the book round and go, starting with Bonneville, and look at this. I only have the book because it has a very good section on the construction of certain bridges, but
well, yeah, I'll flick through that and yes, study it. And sorry, remind me, when did these events start happening? Did they say? Was it
fairly recently, wasn't it?
when renovations were begun? Was that the idea?
You don't have a firm time frame, but it didn't seem like it had been going on for ages. It certainly seemed to be recent from what you gleaned.
Anyone else who would like to look at the book is more than welcome to.
I think I will take it and look at it, partly out of I guess, a sort of sense of politeness.
Justin, what I will also do for you finding that information is give you an advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So what an advantage does is if it is relevant for you to use it on a dice roll, you can roll 2 extra dice in that pool.
It's like a one-time only, you think, yeah? Cool.
And once this, it's once in the mystery, essentially. Yeah. So once this, if you don't use it, it's gone because it's not relevant to anything else.
You're on mute.
Related to like Radcliffe House, so I put like +2 for Radcliffe House or something like that.
Yes. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Everybody is directed to a room by Hawkins, and there is a bath in each room, and they are all filled with hot water. When you see the steam sort of rising out of the bathtub as you go into the rooms. They're all nice rooms, 4-poster beds. These sort of nice bathtubs, oak dressers. Very, very, very pleasant.
Any strange little sort of mouse holes or weird gaps? Or I will sort of pace around the room carefully, listening, and maybe like looking out of the window into the. I presume it's dark now. I don't know what time is it.
Yes, it'll be dark.
Just to. This all feels very strange and peculiar.
There is nothing untoward to be seen in the room, or in fact out of the window.
I'm gonna retire early-ish and start working on my manuscript.
Constance is oddly comfortable. She just has her bath, draws the curtains, has a bath, little pray, and off to bed, ready for an early start. That's it.
I will actually, once I've sort of settled down, probably write a brief letter to my wife at home, and just to explain that I'll be away for a few more days. And
I will bathe Adam and put him to bed, and then we will probably stay up another few hours, basically unpacking all of her hunting gear that she definitely brought with her, and making sure her rifle is clean.
I think Hux will first check the door has a lock on it, and then if it does, relax and have a nice bath. And then probably spend a bit of time rifling through all the drawers to see if there's any nice kit that he could take with him. Particularly, go
on. Yes, the doors all have locks on them, so no problem there. And there are some quite nice clothes in the drawers, certainly, of varying sizes and styles. So I'm sure that Hux could find something to fit him. Whether or not it fits the fashion of the time, the way that he combines them is an entirely different thing. But certainly,
no matter what he
nice
wears,
soft clothes that fit him. Yeah,
good. No matter what he wears, he will still put it underneath his like completely tattered to shreds, beaten leather jacket anyway. Cool.
Okay. So morning rolls around, and you wake to the smell of cooking food. And as you head downstairs, Hawkins sort of greets you all. Good morning. I hope you all slept well. Mrs. Morley, the housekeeper, is preparing breakfast. Sir Rupert and Mrs. Blakely will be here shortly. Would you like to sit?
I'm going to try and sneak a candid shot of the cook with a knife preparing some horrible breakfast thing. I'm like loving this new camera, my new gadget. That's not how I talk, obviously, but that's the vibe.
Hux is going to go for a brief morning walk, just not used to being inside for this long. I will nod at B and ask if she wants to join, but no particular.
I think I will.
And presumably the door in London, I offer to put Adam up on my shoulders while we walk around, if he wants to.
Yeah, I think he'd probably like that.
And then I just look at you and go, so what do you reckon to all this then? Bit of a turn up, eh?
It's definitely not what I expected.
I don't know whether to think too good to be true, or I don't know. Weird group of misfits we are, though. Can't imagine anyone would want us all for anything else. Heck, what's that sister doing here?
Wrong place at the wrong time, I suppose. I just can't help but feel we're doing someone's dirty work for them.
Hey, and what, all 5 of us in that street? What was that about? I mean, I guess
Weird.
people don't go talking about this stuff often, but I've only met a couple of other folks like us. Well, ever, really?
Like, I don't know what the chances of 6 of us in the middle of a street in London is like, but
Well, guess we'll see how it goes.
Do you think we've been set up?
Just watch out. Not sure about that. Watch that one with the camera as well. Seems to be, I don't know, hiding something, I think.
A bit weird.
Yeah, it's people that weird. They're shifty. They've got something to hide. My gut tells me. Watch him.
I'll do.
That's kind of it. Loop back.
Yeah, while those two are out, Sir Rupert and the other name,
Eleanor?
Blakely?
Eleanor, yes. So Rupert and Eleanor come in and join the rest of you for breakfast. It's delicious. You all have a lovely time. Quite expensive tasting tea is provided as well. A different blend to last night's tea, if you had the tea last night. It's a slightly different brew. I'm very glad that you 3 have decided to come along. Did the other 2 not want to... were they not interested in the proposal?
I believe they're just stepping out, but they'll be back.
Oh, excellent. Eleanor says, yes, I didn't think that B would turn down an opportunity like this. I do like her, Rupert.
Do you know her?
No, I get a feeling about people and, well, yes, I do like her. Oh, that reminds me, she says, and brings out a box, sort of a chest almost, and says, one of you should take this. You'll know when you need to use it, I think.
I'll reach out for it, I guess. Then, are there any identifying marks? Is it just is it locked? Can I?
It has a keyhole, and you've notably not been provided the key. And it's sort of carved on the outside, but not in any particular style. It's not a flat wooden box. It's got kind of like viney sort of carving on it. And yeah, once she's passed it to you, she loses interest in that essentially. And Rupert says, please just excuse me a moment, and leaves the room. Eleanor continues drinking her tea and eating some toast.
Okay. I'll turn this thing around in my hands and sort of how large is it? Is it sort of
this kind of, maybe sort of 8 inches by 6 inches and maybe 6 inches deep, something like that.
So like a good loaf of bread kind of dimension.
Yeah, that kind of size, yeah.
Okay, but no labels, nothing.
Nope.
Well, thank you. It does appear to be locked. Is that a concern?
No, that will become clear.
All right. Thank you. I guess. And
You're very welcome.
Put the case to the chest to one side, and
I do recommend not attempting to use it until the time is right.
of course. Do you have any? I'm sorry, you said I'd know when the time was right, but
yes.
I don't know how. Oh.
Have faith, Mr. Bonneville. I'm sure it'll all become clear. Mrs. Blakely, are we expecting somebody to meet us at the other end of the train?
We have sent word ahead. There will be a chartered carriage waiting for you at the train station.
Very good.
And rooms are booked also in Radcliffe.
And are we to receive the details of the case there, or do you have more to?
The inspector should be speaking to you tomorrow morning.
Very good.
He'll meet us at the tower.
He will meet you at the public house at which you will be staying at 9 a.m.
Very well.
Outside, Bee and Hooks bump into Rupert as you are heading back towards the house. And he says, good morning. I thought for a moment that you had decided not to take us up on our proposition, but I'm very relieved to understand that is not the case. Now, look, before you head back inside, I have a small thing to give you.
I'm taking Adam off my shoulders.
And he pulls an iron key from his pocket. And he says, now, don't speak to anybody else about this, but it will become clear when you need to use it. Jolly good. And he turns around and starts walking back towards the house.
I look confused at the iron key, presumably. Look at B and go.
Just hand it to sell it.
I hand it to you, so I'll probably lose the damn thing.
I put it in a secure pocket inside my coat. All right, come on then. Breakfast. I'll head in for breakfast.
You are treated to the same delicious meal as everybody else. Some nice hot tea. Again, a different brew from last night, slightly different flavors. And you can hear the cook, housekeeper, singing from the kitchen. And Hawkins is kind of standing near the door, looking very butler-esque, sort of hands behind his back, ready to help anybody with anything that they need.
I might well ask Hawkins if he's able to post that letter I wrote last night.
Yes, of course, sir. Yes, no problem. He takes it and tucks it into his breast pocket.
Is that conversation loud enough for us to hear, or is it a side conversation, do you think, Steve?
Oh no, it's loud enough. Yeah.
An important case?
A letter to my wife, just explaining. where I will be.
Does she also have the sight? Is she used to this sort of thing happening?
I'm not used to this sort of thing happening. No, no, I don't believe so. She's certainly never said anything to me that would indicate such.
It's quite recent for you then.
Yes, as I say, a few weeks. I was attacked by. Well, I thought it was a dog or a wolf, but well, ever since I don't know. Things have been strange.
That was the first time.
It was. I've seen nothing before, and nothing since until that creature outside.
And you've seen a physician?
Oh, these wounds have been healing naturally. They seem to be okay.
But did you tell anyone?
No. Should I have done?
Probably not. Probably not.
Jonny, do the rest of us, I mean, presumably we kind of just have had it as long as we remember. It's always been a thing that we can see these creatures. Is that kind of the impression we all have? Or is that different for each of us? I don't know.
That is individual.
Okay, I see.
I believe that was one of the things we picked in our character creation.
Interesting. Okay. Oh, that's what that means.
Yeah.
Got it now. I'm caught up.
What
So
about
that thing that attacked you? Then it's still out there. You didn't tell anyone, or did you manage to kill the beast?
No, I did not manage to kill the beast. It could have killed me easily if it had wanted to. I think it just seemed to be playing with me, and then disappeared. But tell the truth, I do. Well, it's probably just nerves, but I do feel as if something might be. I don't know, following me. Probably nothing.
Well,
Probably.
perhaps it's something that you should report to this Apollonian society if they deal with these sorts of things. Maybe if this thing got away, it would be best to be dealt with as well.
What was it like?
It was big. It seemed to be. It was, as I say, some sort of large dog or wolf or something like that. Quick.
Jonny, it's fine to just say no, but any idea what that might be? Seen anything like it before?
Have you any idea what that might be? Make me the learning logic roll.
Oh, yeah, no. I'll make it. I'll have a go. No.
Okay.
Can I
no.
also make a roll for it? Just thinking if you were attacked in a forest, I might have seen something. No idea.
Jonny, would we have like general, like even before like gaining the sight, generally like there's sort of fairy tales and silly little children's stories and stuff. So there'd be things that depending on who the person, you might then call into question. Actually, are some of those things real, or so there would maybe be some sort of there could be creatures out there, kind of
Fairy tales.
Yeah. But not a specific something. Cool.
Oh, that was a lovely breakfast. What time do we need to go to make the train? Do we need to be going soon, or?
Yes, in fact, about 1 hour.
About an hour.
So you have time to make any preparations. You're free, of course, to use the library if you want to check anything before leaving.
Wow.
Is that a specific mechanic, Johnny?
Yes, it would be the learning logic roll again.
Cool.
I suppose we ought to have a little browse, just in case. Although I suppose if there's anything useful, they'd have already told us. But
Well, they may have missed something. I'm happy to join you, Sister Constance, if you are interested in browsing the shelves.
yes, well, I think it would be the prudent thing to do.
Right, quite.
I will, yes, happily tag along.
Hux and B also going to the library, or are you both doing something else, you think?
Yeah, Hux can't read. Go to the library.
You might appreciate the smell of the books.
Maybe he just sniffs them. Gets everything he needs from the sniff.
Wow.
See
This
which
is some
one
damn
smells
good
the most
ergot.
expensive.
I suppose I'm just curious to explore the whole of the house, assuming I'm allowed to. Is there any, like, I'm going to go wander around the kitchen, see the back entrance sort of way? Is there like stables or anything like that? You know, just that sort of thing. What stuff this house has.
Okay, let's do that then first. So the about half of the ground level, which is the level that you are on, to be eating near the kitchen, is occupied by a coach house and stables.
Okay, nice.
So there is a separate entrance to that from the street to the main door that you came in through. And there are some storerooms down here. You spot an entrance to a cellar. It's up to you if you want to go down there, or if you're just going to note there's a cellar. Okay.
I would totally. I'm not planning on going right down unless something really interesting. I'm just going to open it, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, it's stone steps down, and you can see that there are sort of, it looks like maybe a wine barrel down there, and like, you know, just kind of storage stuff.
Yeah, I won't bother going down there. It's good to know though.
The first floor, obviously straight ahead as you go up the stairs, is the lounge, which you were in last night. There are doors to the library, and then the top floor is bedrooms, which you're aware of because that's where you were last night. And there is also, if you're like looking around while they're spending time in the library, I'll just explain to you all the rooms, and then you've got that knowledge.
Yeah.
So there is a small armory in a side room off the library. There is in the library, there is also a sort of small museum of objects, like weird looking objects kind of in cases, glass cases. A large selection of maps are spread out along a table at the back of the library, which you can sort of leaf through and then take out. And there are also so there are sections that look like they might go to another wing potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Not like, this isn't an enormous house, but it looks like they may go to another section which may have multiple other rooms in. However, it looks kind of like they're closed off.
Okay.
So either there's work being done on them, or maybe they're closed off to just so that they don't have to be looked after if nobody's using them, kind of thing.
Yeah, I won't bother going and faffing with that. While I'm in the library, I will quickly just point out to, oi, bookworms, maps. Someone want to find one for where we're going? And then I'll just leave.
Cool.
And then I was going to go to the armory. Is it like a show armory, or is it like oh no, you could totally just grab some stuff armory?
Oh yeah, there are weapons in here that you can take out.
Yeah.
This is your house now, Magnus.
Yeah.
Like, this is everything in this is yours.
I'll grab myself if there's. Revolvers are around now, aren't they? Yeah. Or is it a bit too early for revolvers? I'm trying to think on the time.
My character has a revolver.
Oh well, there you go.
Yes.
It's not. If there's a revolver,
can't use it.
I would grab one. and maybe just like a decent sized knife as well. That would be nice. Sure, cool. Add that to my kit. That's great. Significantly improved my equipment so far.
Is this short circuiting some of the preparation step of the adventure, Jonny? Or
This is the preparation step.
oh,
so
cool!
you're fine.
Excellent.
Yeah. So when you walk into the library, the comment that you had made about surely they would have let us know if they knew anything kind of falls away because it's quite vast. So you can't imagine that either of them or even both of them together have read all of every book that's in here. So yeah, that kind of falls away from you. We can make learning logic rolls for anyone who wants to attempt to look through.
I rolled it before. I got 1 success, and so Constance would definitely be trying to probably veer to anything that was either religious in nature or spoke some sort of like, exorcism style, like ritual type, something, religiously kind of oriented in that sort of way. Or I guess if there are items in the library, if there's anything that obviously has some sort of religious significance, like some sort of a cross or whatever, that might also draw her attention. But
okay.
Does the library give any bonus to learning rolls, or?
No, it's just a standard learning roll when you're in here.
Then I just got 1 success.
Okay.
I also got 1 success.
Okay. So Inga, Constance finds a quite ornate crucifix in one of the glass cabinets. It's up to you. Like, you have access to these things, so if you want to take it, you can take it. What are Gail and Henry looking for specifically when you're looking? Do you think?
I think I'd be looking to work out whether there are any legends that match these kinds of events. So things moving around, fires, people disappearing, that kind of thing.
And I mean, I might be kind of sidetracked by. It depends when Magnus came in and yelled maps. I would possibly be on the way to sort of maybe looking to find out what the thing was that attacked me, if there was like any reference to that. But as soon as Magnus came in and sort of yelled maps, it's like, oh yeah, that's probably a better use of my time.
In that case, then, Steve, I will. You find that there are maps of numerous places. Some of them are larger scale and some of them are smaller scale. And you actually managed to find a Lancashire map, which you can fold up and take with you. So I'll give you an advantage with that for if you need to find somewhere around that area. And Justin Gale was looking for things that match up to those things, right? Like sort of fairy tales that might match up with those. Yes, there are a few. So I won't give you a full list of them now, but there are numerous sort of trickster style. However, that doesn't really match up with then numerous deaths.
Yeah,
that's the start of it could be a few different things, and the latter half could be a few different things. You can't necessarily find one thing that turns from one to the other.
Well, for a non-mechanical, purely fluff thing, I'll probably take a few of these books and swap them out for some of the books in my case.
Okay.
If I think they're relevant.
Yeah, sure.
I think Constance will take the crucifix, but she will say to the others in the library, I have my own holy symbol, but I think it's sensible that somebody else has some form of protection against these creatures. Unless, of course, you have your own crucifix.
No, certainly I would That would be very helpful. Thank you, Sister Constance.
John, what was B doing? Sorry.
I'm actually not super sure, but I think if she wanders across Hux and Hux mentions an armory, then she will probably head down and try and find something protective for both herself and Adam.
Okay.
Probably nothing child-sized, but even if it's just like a big, like padded leather jerkin or something that she can throw on if there's an emergency.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Yes, you find essentially exactly that.
Fantastic.
So let's give. You can take an advantage for B for sort of combat defensiveness.
Okay.
Sam, you can take one for Hooks for combat fighting. And Inga, you gave your thing away, didn't you? Okay, that's fine.
Got my own.
I'm also going to be kind of trying to gently explain to Adam why we're not going home and why we're going to a different city. But I think this may have been maybe the first time he's been in a city, so now he's going to a second city. Yeah.
They're all the same.
Yeah, pretty much.
For what it's worth, while you're in the armory, Hux is making sure not to show that he's just like arming up and a revolver and a knife in front of Adam.
I mean, his mum carries a rifle and a knife, so
I know.
I don't think he's perturbed.
He's probably being overly polite.
The door to the library opens. Right, we should be on our way if you've prepared everything that you need.
I believe so. Certainly from my point of view.
Jolly good. Right, Eleanor and I shall wait in the hall for you.
Yeah, well, I'll
just
I
to
guess
send
head
out.
out and-
Mm-hmm.
Cool. They lead you out the front door, and Hawkins kind of nods at you all as you pass. See you soon. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just giving him a kind of strange, slightly uncomfortable look since I'm not used to this.
I will, as we're leaving, just turn around and just have a look back at where we saw the small creature thing previous day.
Oh yeah. There's still like a sort of broken bit of stonework with you can see it's sort of black in there. You don't see anything there now, just a hole. And you they walk you to the train station. You're sort of walking through the drizzle at this point, and they wish you good luck and send you on your way. And so we snap back into the present, and you are on the train and nearing Manchester.
So how much of the journey has Gale, Mosling, Forcemark gone on about trains? I was distracted. Phew.
Looking out the window. We've got to breathe for
I'm
breathe.
clearly taking photos at
Right.
every stop and writing, but
Okay.
I'm working, so I don't need to talk about it.
Oh, phew.
How many
worth it.
photos can you take with that camera?
Well, I have to put a new plate in every time, and you'll see me putting a new plate in.
These plates are heavy, though.
Frequently.
They're hefty things. How many bags have you got?
Enough.
Okay.
I've not taken so many.
It's worth saying Hux, despite the bath, still just smells really bad.
But it is noticeably better, and we do appreciate that, Huxley.
I'm not sure it is, but yeah.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
If it's evident that there has been some sort of arming up, Constance will probably make a comment here or there about, that it won't help you against these things.
Well, doesn't hurt to have, though, does it? Sometimes it's not always those things in the way anyway.
Armor of faith, I think, would do you much better. But
Hey, I'm a man of God. Don't you go assuming.
oh,
I don't know if there's a mechanic for this, Jonny, but I was just going to say I do actually have like a small cross on my neck, but it doesn't have to be a thing. I just fiddle with it as we say that.
Constance doesn't respond particularly. She looks slightly less judgy, but still not very warm at all towards you. Just a bit more neutral.
Cool. Anybody want to do anything else on the train?
I think I would generally be probing B to see what your deal is. Where have you been traveling from? Much opportunities for poaching in London? Probably not. What are your usual haunts? That kind of thing.
B responds in mostly 1 or 2 word sentences, but you get the gist that she's kind of from probably the Reading-ish area, and that she was in London being done for poaching.
Yeah. Well, Mosling, although he's clearly capable of buffoonery, is actually reasonably good at being patient and slowly drawing details out of people. It being his profession, that we get at least some of the way through that in the several hours of the train journey.
You might, after an hour or so, start to get slightly longer sentences.
Hux does eventually also volunteer that he has seen you before on the trains while traveling.
I knew it.
Cool. You see the smoke of a city ahead of you, and a few moments later you pull into Manchester Station. And as you disembark the train, you see somebody holding something that says AS on it, which you assume to be shortened Apollonian Society. And he says, "Right, you are then. Shall we get you on your way then?"
Oh, I suppose. No one want to stretch their legs briefly? That carriage was awfully tight.
Yeah, it would be nice. A few minutes.
Well, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Just this carriage here. So I'll just sit up there and let me know when you're ready.
Oh, I've missed Manchester. Got a smell here, not like anywhere else. Take a big lungful and they go.
Mosling is taking photographs of the station.
Steve?
Yes.
Can you make me a vigilance roll?
Oh,
So let's do a bit more mechanic information. So what I think this does really well is there are numerous sort of what might just be a perception roll in some other games. So there is investigation, which is sort of getting stuff from the scene of what's going on. There is learning, which is sort of the book learning. there is vigilance, which is sort of if somebody is sneaking up on you, or if you want to see something around you that's not sort of investigative. It's just sort of what you might passively notice. How did you do, Steve? You're muted, Steve.
Done it again.
Cool.
So for vigilance, I have 5 in logic, but no points in vigilance itself. But I did score 1 success with 5 dice.
Okay. In the sort of passing of people between a pair of people sort of going like that, and then another pair of people going like that, you spot what looks like a silhouetted figure looking right at you. And then as the second one passes, it's gone.
Oh, great. Lovely. Any discerning features?
Quite large.
I think the rest of you will probably see Henry just sort of freeze, looking in a specific direction for several seconds.
You would say probably a similar size and shape to the thing that attacked you, actually. But upright, completely upright.
Okay.
Something troubling you, Bonneville?
I thought I saw something. There's nothing there. It's.
No, there might be. I told you we must be wary.
Well, I saw a figure, a large figure, just a split second, just over there. But they're not there now.
Why did it catch your eye?
I honestly couldn't say. I was looking in that direction, and suddenly it was this silhouette was looking back at me.
Constance will poke the guy who's got the carriage to pick up and point in the direction that Bonneville's spoken about. Is this the direction we're heading in?
Yes, yeah, we'll be going down there.
You see, it could well be connected. You must be very careful if you suspect something odd.
Well, I'll be sure to tell you. I don't know what to do about it, but I will. Yes, I'll let you know if I see it again.
You said you thought something had been following you, didn't you?
Yes. Just I guess glimpses like this every so often. Just a feeling. But
A good feeling or a bad feeling?
not a good feeling. Almost like it seems fanciful, but I guess I don't know, a feeling of just something was following me.
Well, next time, Mr. Bonneville, why don't you tell us straight away if you get that feeling, eh? And Hux kind of just taps on his crowbar on his side.
If you think it will do any good, certainly.
Maybe don't go off alone.
I think Henry will be looking increasingly nervous at this point.
Henry just gets back on the train.
And in the carriage behind.
Well, I'm ready to go. I think I'm not going to waste any more plates on this. I think I even have a few good pencil drawings from a few years ago. So I'm going to just get on the carriage.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting a lung full of air that isn't whatever the hell they're doing in cities these days.
There is nothing like the country air, is there, Miss B?
No, not anymore.
Right, Radcliffe then.
Please.
Be about an hour. You feel the thing kind of jolt as you set off, and then you settle into a steady motion.
As Hux got into the coach, he's like hunched in like that, and it kind of leans slightly to the side he's sitting in.
What an awfully familiar coachman.
Yes. We can have words back at the society when we return, I suppose.
1 star.
No, enough meta.
Yeah.
Just out of interest, how does Hux compare, like size-wise, to the thing that I've seen?
It's probably quite similar, I think.
Okay.
Although I think that Hux is probably scrawnier, I imagine.
Yeah, I don't think he's not really well fed, that's fair. He's just kind of, I wouldn't say he's lanky, he's muscle, but he's not chunky.
But if you put him in a big coat...
I mean, he is wearing quite a lot of layers now, having found more clothes that he could just wear, so...
Where is your nunnery, Miss Sister Constance? Or perhaps you are out of the nunnery?
I joined the church in Edinburgh and have actually travelled quite a bit around the country over the years.
Are there such things as travelling nuns? Do you
Well,
what kinds of
clearly there
things
are.
do you? Well, I mean, I've just.
I don't just travel for the sake of travel. I travel to do good works and to help those in need.
Oh.
Like we are now.
Hmm.
I'm not just riding the rails.
Travelling
That's
to
perfect.
things,
Yes, of course. Where I'm
not
needed.
from them.
I go where I'm needed.
Sister Constance, are you familiar then with this particular line of work? Is this these?
No. I've not come across something like this before. No, in the church I have seen. The church has certainly done good work to dispel the influence of the devil. These things are of the devil, and but that's not my everyday, of course. I mean, otherwise, no. For the most part, the good works are things like helping in schools or feeding the poor or helping in hospitals and things like that.
Anyone who glances at Hux will notice he's just got a scowl on his face. He stares out the window.
So what were you doing in London?
I was going to visit a hospital that I've been to before, but not for a specific project. I'm not late for something. Somewhere where I've done some works before and was going to return, but I can be delayed a few days.
Mosling's got a notebook out again. Head out the window of the carriage. Often, kind of like looking at something, kind of go by and then going back and taking more notes.
Okay. I've got a sudden image of like a car with a dog sticking its head out the window. Sorry.
So after a little while, you leave the confines and the tighter streets of the city, and out into the countryside. B probably takes a few deep breaths, I imagine, and you see yourself approaching a kind of smaller town. So not the industrialization of the city, but certainly a bit more of a population centre. And you arrive in Radcliffe, and you are deposited at outside a pub called the Lockkeeper. And the carriage driver jumps down, splashes into some mud. Oh, bloody hell! Can I help any of you down? Need me to take any luggage?
Yes, be careful with this bag. There's a number of expensive plates in it.
Oh, yeah.
Hux has
Beast,
already got out the
Muslim.
other side of the carriage.
He is careful.
Good.
Probably walks a bit faster on the slippery ground than you would like, but certainly is holding it steady as he's carrying it inside.
He is not getting a tip.
He continues helping anybody down who needs help down, and so on.
I think Adam may have fallen asleep in the last part of the carriage ride, so I will hand him my bag to help while I carry the boy.
Nice.
Do we know B's surname? Have you said it, or has it been said?
I don't think I have. I've said
Cool.
it, and I don't think anyone asked.
Cool. Then I'll
Is it
just
one of the
avoid.
details you got out of her on the trip?
No, I would be if I knew it, I'd call Jack Master Hale, obviously, and so
Right.
but not knowing the appropriate way to address him, just won't until I know it.
Well, like I've told you, his name's Adam.
What am I, his
He's
dad? like,
He's not quite enough.
like, what use is that information to me? Absolutely nothing.
Perfect.
If I don't know his surname, I'll call him the wrong first name every time.
I mean, to be fair, he couldn't remember his own surname, so you know.
That's fair. It's such a long surname.
Anyway, if you speak with enough authority, people answer you anyway. It's fine.
Boy. Anyway,
What time of day is it, Johnny, when we arrive?
It is just getting dark as you arrive, and it's October, so sort of 5:30, 6 o'clock kind of time.
chilly.
Right, I'll be on my way then. Thank you all.
How are we to get back to Manchester when the whole thing is all sorted out?
If you speak
Send a message to Manchester, or
if you you speak to Bill in the pub there, he'll get in touch with me, and I'll get in touch with Sir Rupert.
I'll do that.
I imagine that Gale notices that he's addressed Sir Rupert what he would consider quite correctly, whereas with everybody else, he's just like, whatever.
The youth these days.
Pleasure. And he climbs back up on the carriage and turns around and sets off to giving the horses a little bit of a stroke on the back of the head.
He won't go anywhere, that one. I mean, literally, he will. But never mind. I'm going in.
I've already headed in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hux is already at the bar.
All your bags are placed neatly inside. If you had more than one bag, they are placed together and separately from everybody else's. They're all kind of split out. He's done a very nice job of bringing your bags in.
I'm thinking about the possessions I have and thinking if I have any bags. I don't think I do.
There are a few people sitting drinking, and a guy behind the bar. There's nobody currently at the bar, so he's kind of leaning, having a conversation with somebody at the bar. And he sees you all enter, and he says, "Ah, are you my guests for the evening?"
Yes.
Lovely. Right. I'll just get your bags behind the bar. Keep them safe. He starts running around and putting them behind the bar. He says, "Not that anything would happen to them if we left them out, apart from people might trip over them, you know." Right. Yes. Yeah. I'll show you upstairs. And he goes to a door near the side of the pub and heads up the stairs, leaving the door open behind him, presuming that you will all follow.
Certainly.
And he
Constance just has a small bag, but she will pick up her bag and take it up with her anyway.
He goes, right, yeah, you've quite fancy. You've got a room each. I assume the B's still carrying Adam at this point.
Yeah,
I presume you don't mind sharing.
he'll stay with me.
He's opened the 5 doors by the time you come upstairs, and he says, take your pick. Food's been paid for as well, so I'll rustle you something up. And he starts heading past you to go down the stairs. And he shouts up as he's halfway down. He says, I'll bring your bags up soon.
Mosling will start sticking his head into rooms and, if possible, pick the smallest room.
Okay. Yeah, there's one that is kind of in the, the diagonal of the roof. So you kind of lose a little bit of that side of the room. That would be the smallest one.
Just whichever one's closest, she'll walk into.
They're all pretty similar in terms of there's a bed and some drawers and standard rooms.
Hux will race Constance for whichever one's closest, and then just step aside and let you go for it and have the nearest closest to that one.
I think Be'll grab the closest on the other side of the corridor. She's just going to go for whichever one people aren't fighting over.
Yeah. Cool. Everybody's got a room. He hasn't introduced himself to you by name, but Bill comes upstairs and kind of checks. He'll bring like a set of bags up and check with you whose it is, and then drop it inside your rooms. And says, "Do you want food whipping up soon? It's been a long day. I imagine you're hungry. Long day of travel."
Yes.
Yes.
So.
I'll take mine in the bar, though.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. He disappears off again.
I maybe would have relayed this on the train anyway, but in any case, Constance will relay to the others who, because I think it was B and Hux were both out at the point when we heard about meeting in the morning. So just to explain, they were expecting to be met in the morning. And sorry, Jonny, do we have a sense that like this pub is like close to where it's the same town as the tower, right? We're in like Radcliffe.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. So maybe suggest we head downstairs, as Mosling suggested, like eat downstairs, and perhaps there's it's not the largest town. Perhaps there are people who have been affected or might know some more about what's happened in the tower that we can hear about this evening, even.
Yeah, let's ask Barkeep first. I bet he'll have something. They always see a lot of people.
People do like to speak. Very well.
He brings out to you some bread and fish and cheese. So quite nice, really, for a meal in a pub. You know, you imagine that the society have paid a reasonable amount for your stay here. And says, anything else? What are you drinking?
What's on tap? I'll have an ale.
Tap.
Yeah, he gets you an ale. Is Constance dressed?
She's not she's not in a full habit. No, she's just in like normal clothes, traveling clothes. Like very, very modest and stuff still.
Half wimple.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not easily identifiable as a nun, other than
cool.
She's got the locket with crucifix or something like that. Yeah, there's like little details if you're really paying attention.
Yeah.
Port.
Yes, why not?
He starts looking behind the bar at some sort of dusty bottles and kind of wiping them to see what the labels say.
I might go for an ale instead.
To be fair, this would have been the prime time for port, wouldn't it? Like, if this was when the French did their thing of selling rotten wine with sugar in it to the English. It was about now, and that was what became port. So I think it was like 1800, 1850-ish when that became popular.
So when you say prime time for it,
I mean, that's what port is. It's just bad wine. They put sugar in it. Well, there you go.
Today
Cool.
I learned.
Yeah, and that's how we lost all of our French.
He provides you port.
I'll have an ale, and the boy will have milk.
Jolly good. He gives everybody their drinks.
Once he's clearly done giving drinks, but just before he heads off, I go, "Oh, Bill, was it?
Yes, yeah.
What's been going on up at that tower? Here's some nasty business up there."
Oh, are you? Is that why you're here?
Just curious.
About the Radcliffe place. Yeah, I understand that that Wilton, that ass who owns it, he's well, they said building work, but from what I hear, he was going to have it knocked down.
Old building falling down, or
yeah, but you know, it's history, isn't it?
Yeah. Just no one wanting it knocked down then, other than him.
No, I don't think so. He's been doesn't even live there. He's been using the manor house for some kind of hayloft. Terrible.
Do any of these any of these words start clicking into place with my previous the previous reading I'd done on various the fairy tales?
No, they wouldn't. No.
So has he said why he's doing it over if he's not living there?
No, probably. Don't know. Maybe he plans to build something else there and then live there. I don't know.
is he a newer
But, you know.
owner? Has he been in charge for long?
His family's had it for less than 100 years, I think.
But he himself, he's just taken it over and decided he wants to turn it around, or has he been involved?
Yeah, it's just not really sure. Like, he's never. I think the Wiltons did live there at first when they got hold of it in the 1700s, but yeah, he's never lived there, I don't think.
Young man, old man,
bit older than me. You would say he's probably in his mid-30s. You would guess.
Right.
Is he known about the town then, or do people know him? Is he well liked, or do people not really know him if he doesn't stay here?
You hear, when you ask if he's well liked, you hear a couple of laughs on a table behind you.
I think that
well liked.
One of them goes, "Yeah, well, you know, these rich lot don't have anything to do with the town. Think they can do what they want with it."
I'll just raise my mug.
What would you want them to do with it?
Well, history, isn't it? Should stay. Should be back with the Radcliffes.
Are they still around?
No, but that doesn't matter, does it?
Do you know what it was there for? Built for in the first place? I'll say probably at the folks who are chatting with us now.
Well, it was just home, wasn't it? You know,
Tower,
passed
though.
down.
Funny thing. Church? What?
Nah, that was for defending, but that was hundreds of years ago.
Ah,
You're a budding architect, Mr. Huxley?
always time to learn.
That's what I've always liked.
So, what happened to the Radcliffes? They just sell up, or
Bill says, well, legend has it that one of the Wiltons had something on one of the Radcliffes. Kind of ran him out of town.
I agree. It's a shame to hear that history is being destroyed. But if it was supposed to be originally renovation works, normally that sort of thing is quite popular. Lots of new jobs and work and things like that.
Well, yeah, but those who went to work there, it didn't go so well for them, did it?
We've just arrived. We don't know a lot of details about what's happened, what has happened.
Well, couple of gruesome endings, I'm afraid, for people there. Rest of them quit.
That sort of thing is quite unusual, like obviously, but strange things going on at the house, at the tower. Is that new?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's not somewhere that's got, these silly stories about hauntings or anything like that. It's just, very new.
Funny, sometimes you hear those things more about the old places, but it sounds like when it was just left as it was all fine. Curious thing.
Well, that was a lovely supper. I'm going to have to retire now. I'm going to plan on seeing if I can get any of these photographs. Sorry, I don't know why I shortened that. Photographs to develop. That's the phrase they're using these days. Not to bother you with the jargon, but I will be off, and I can push my bar stool back and eagerly, two at a time, leap bound up the stairs.
Grand.
that man does talk funny.
Is there any sort of is there a church in the town somewhere?
Yes, yeah, just down at the end of the road and left.
Very good. Yes, thank you. If it's starting to get a bit later, I guess now, then yeah, I think Constance will also probably head towards bed, I guess. Might stay just quietly for finish, take it slow, finish off the dinner, just listen to the bustle and stuff. But yeah.
Yep.
I'll get a fresh mug of ale and just sit out in front of the pub in the night air for a while.
Nice.
I might join you outside actually.
I think
just keeping an eye over the fields and.
I'll put Adam to bed and then I'll come out and join you.
Never been here before. That tower's got to be on a hill around somewhere, eh? It's dark now, I know we can't see it, but I'm just looking around, trying to figure out where a tower could be.
Usually put them on the top of a hill, don't they?
Always odd when you arrive somewhere in the dark, isn't it? Can't find your way around. Haven't seen any more of your stalker then, have you, Mr. Bonneville?
I hope not. No, not so far, thankfully.
Good. Doesn't sound healthy, that.
No. No, I don't know what sort of creatures you might have seen, but certainly well, if the thing, I don't know what to make of it, but it certainly didn't seem friendly in the least.
I ain't seen nothing like what you were talking about. Nor what could do that, looking down at one of the like healing scars you've got somewhere in your arms or something.
Hopefully it will stay away. I have brought myself this revolver, but I fear I'm not a great shot, so hopefully it doesn't come to well, hopefully with a group of us, perhaps it will keep its distance, whatever it is.
If you see it again, you let me know.
Certainly.
Folks have been dying up there too, though, so sounds like we've come into more trouble, eh?
Constance didn't join us outside, did she? Okay, good.
Yes, I don't know what to. Well, we'll know more tomorrow, I guess. But it seems to be targeted at the least. It recent and targeted.
And I must admit, the story that Barkeep was telling sounds like it was defending itself, whatever's there.
Do you have any idea of what might do that?
Could be anything, couldn't it? Swap over. Imagine you were there. Who knows? Maybe these, whatever they are, others, maybe they don't see us. Same as most of us don't see them. Perhaps if something's there tearing your house apart and you don't know what's going on.
I think they see us. I don't think that would stop them, though. I won't want someone tearing my house down.
Oh, yeah.
Acting like they owned it.
And that history with the family as well. Something up with them Radcliffes getting kicked out. Wonder if that could be related.
It's something to look into. Yeah.
What's the oldest case you've ever solved, Mr. Bonneville?
There's a question. Nothing too. There was mostly. I don't really deal in anything too extraordinary. Maybe I think the longest was a stolen artifacts, treasure that had been hidden away. The thief had died, but I'd been able to piece together their trail, their hideout, and I was able to recover a cache of, but nothing. That was, I don't know, a few decades. Nothing too old. Why? Why do you ask?
Hey, was that down docks? That might have been old Sam's place.
I'm just thinking if someone was playing Silly Buggers 100 years ago, I don't know. Just wondering if you'd know how these things change as they get older. You've got 100 years to cover something up. If the Wintons push the Radcliffes out,
Well, there's always, at least in my experience, there's always some sort of trail. So people can't hide everything forever. There's always something to follow. So,
and what did you make of pushing him out, or exiling from Radcliffe? But where'd they go?
that is
That's not
strange.
the same as disappearing, right? But
There should be some, yeah.
I guess we have a few questions to ask about that.
probably just bought a fancy house somewhere else.
Finish
Well, I
up
guess
drink.
I'll-
Yeah.
Cool. I think we'll leave it there. Everybody's gone to sleep. Nothing bad will happen.
It wasn't going to be a
It's a challenge.
terrible nightmare, but yeah, I'm ready for it. Every time we're ending on a night time.
Thanks, everyone.
Great stuff.
Thanks, everyone who's been watching. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the chat. I'm really enjoying this. I hope everybody else is. Yeah, I'll do recappy stuff. So Wednesday nights, Simba Room. It is Saturday the 22nd of October that we're doing Cyborg, isn't it? Is that right?
I believe
think
so.
that's right. And join us on our social media and YouTube, Twitch, Discord, and Patreon. Links to all of those are below the stream. Especially come join us on Discord, because it's nice when people come join us and we have chats on there. And yeah, it's a nice little community of people. Oh, that's the other thing that I need to do, which I needed to remember. Thank you very much to Lord Malice for the names Sir Rupert Merriweather and his sister-in-law Eleanor Blakely, who are now rather major characters in the story. And thank you also to Utred43 for Inspector Bertram Bonts. That was done on the Discord, so if you might want to name some characters, then that's the first time we've done that, I think, isn't it? But
Yeah.
they're great names. They've come in really well.
I
So,
already
yes.
love Eleanor as well. She's a fun character. Oh, the
Yeah.
key and box thing. Oh, that was so funny. I was really struggling to not just burst out laughing and die.
It was good.
So funny. Oh.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's yeah.
Loads of fun
Nice.
character stuff. I love how much time is spent just getting into character. We
Yeah, it was quite good.
It's fun.
I'll say with the box, like we haven't mentioned the box to you guys who got the key. Like I obviously you guys were told not to say anything, but we weren't set. But we just
think them up.
obviously not relevant.
Well, Eleanor was, quite adamant that we'd know when to, so apparently
You'll
there's
know when to
something
use
one
it
of-
because someone will shove a key into it.
To be fair, I'd probably just see you with like a chest and think, that's probably one of Henry's things.
I mean,
Yeah.
or we'd hide the chest from Huxley because Huxley cannot be trusted whatsoever with anything. He has a crowbar. Man has a crowbar.
Who needs the key
constantly.
anyway?
I'm very, very disappointed that I didn't even get a boo hiss boo on my camera guide to Real Ale.
I just got it when you said it out loud.
Yeah, I got it, but I can't.
I
be
lived
distracted like that.
John's reactions.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I don't know if that joke will translate though, but
No, I don't. Well, I mean, oh no! What if all the 18th? What if this 18th century anachronisms are too niche?
Well,
Yeah.
Cool. Anything in
Any-
the comments?
let me.
Lord Malice, man, I love the Simba Room art, but the Vaesen art is a very close second. Yeah, it's very, very nice. Very sort of tonally, like thematics, nice.
Ooh, we're going to have some opportunities to put it up on screen during sessions, Johnny. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, the book's generally really nice.
Yeah.
If we we'd have to run in some Vaesen to put the art up on screens, and what are the chances of that happening? Probably very low. They're
Not like we haven't already had that
elusive.
maybe multiple times in the session.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I feel like you should just say nothing, Johnny, and just flash up like the artwork for the thing that's haunting Steve.
You can flash
Give
it
the
up,
game away though, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
print it out, and then just occasionally like.
Also, if I put an image up, then you know that that's like at the moment it could just be somebody. It could be nothing.
Yeah.
True.
I think
In lieu of character art, like, would just pop up like, Hux, and then there's like, a picture of a mermaid or something mad that just appears. Oh, whoops, wrong image.
I do have a bunch of like the Vaesen card deck thing. So I think can I reveal the card of the thing that we saw outside the house?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, that's fine.
I think this is one of them. It isn't. Yeah.
Hang
Yeah,
on,
there
let
it
me
is.
just make you.
Oh God.
No.
No,
How do
John.
I-
No.
God, how do I make that?
Quite a bit
There.
of screen time.
Also,
There we
we're
go.
professional. by the way.
There we go.
We're a
Yeah.
professional streaming show.
Slick operation.
I'm really hoping that in in the smudged corner of one of these Manchester station photographs, there is Bonneville kind of like staring at a really just smudged, blurred, dark figure. But
Also,
Steve Jobs
Constance was like, they're all evil and creatures of the devil.
I love. That's
good.
not going to cause any friction at all.
No, I can't foresee anything. No.
My
I
relationship.
was thinking, even just with the chat at the end with you guys, I was there like, oh man, like I wish Constance was in there. But I was also like, if she was, there's no way you guys would be able to actually just have this nice free flowing chat because she'd just be so.
In my relationship with Constance, I've got. It's always good to keep on the good side of the church. So I'm just like. That's
She would agree.
It's like, better safe than sorry,
With Pascal's wager.
I had it that Hux is a man of faith, but I feel like by the end of this, I might not be given one.
That is just a note from Steve. All the art in the Vaesen books are by Johan Egerkrans.
I think
Is
you're
that
right.
is that the correct?
Kind of. I wouldn't attempt to pronounce it myself.
Well, thanks for warning me. After I've said it.
Just don't do it.
But there was that chap who I won't attempt. He's done art books prior to Vaesen. So there's actually like a guide, a folk guide of creatures, which then became the Vaesen RPG. I was trying to get hold of it when I found out about Vaesen some time ago, but the book is, at least at that point, very hard to get hold of and very expensive. So it might be easier now. I don't know. I'll have to check again.
Nice.
I'm assuming that places like the tower, like I'm assuming by the end of all of this, we'll be able to go away and look it up and find out that everything that happened is real or something along those. I'm just like waiting to find out like just how.
This is my thing. I was like, I'm not even going to put into Wikipedia Cliff Tower or Tower because I'm 50% sure that if I do that, I'll just get a load of stuff that Johnny doesn't want me to see.
Yep.
I don't think that there is anything that is like. It's going to be, in some way based on real things, isn't it? Because it's me in a real world game.
It's great. Love it.
But I don't think that there is anything. It's not like with Call of Cthulhu where it was like actually weird stuff. This isn't an actual weird thing that's happened. I've just taken some real things and overlaid some weird stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not quite as strange as with Call of Cthulhu.
We'll see.
Not
By
for
the end,
this.
we'll see how much you're lying to us right now.
Yeah. Wait for the third arc to go
by
really.
like the 20th season of whatever Johnny is running, we'll all be like, Johnny will be like, at the end, he'll be like, and by the way, did you know that this character was actually a real person? Like, yeah, we know, Johnny. All of your
all real.
We always assume this. This ghost is a real ghost. Like, yeah, yes, we know. Johnny.
It will be good if I can get to the point where I just throw in something really outlandish and everybody's like, so is that the real bit then? Because
Oh dear.
Great stuff.
I'm waiting for you to like set something in the near future, like the
and then
2040s
it
or something.
happens.
And then I was going to say, and then by the way, this NPC is like
A real person.
your
born
future
yesterday.
child.
Well, John, it's only 2 and a bit months until when the Long Silent Night was set, so Azathoth may appear yet.
Mm.
I mean, is that any
We'll
worse
see.
than what's going on at the moment?
True. Gradually relief.
True.
We had this
Thank
from
you.
Lord Malice.
It was a good
Thank
session.
you. I had a lot of fun.
Appreciated.
You always know it's a good session, Johnny, when a lot of it is just leaving us to have fun.
Yeah, when you're not talking, Johnny, like. Sorry.
My favourite. That's why I made Okri so quiet. I was like, I can't go from my style of GMing to being like 50 words a minute PC.
Oh dear.
Great stuff.
I assume this was in reference to Mosling. Yes, it was.
Rude. Rude.
Love it.
Is Steve saying, I hope the Vaesen keeps stealing his pens?
I have a very good relationship with the Vaesen. I have no qualms with the Vaesen, you know.
We'll just nod along while Constance is like, demons, devils.
Exactly. It's like, oh yes, the horrible frontier man. Yes, yes. Burn them all.
It's shocking that there's murder and stuff, and you guys immediately are like, there must be a good reason for all this murder and mayhem.
I liked the you have to do that. You have to still hugs if you're.
It's
Yeah.
officially, it's one of the rules.
I mean, you're not far off in a way. Like,
I'm going to be constantly
Oh,
just
dear.
being like, oh, well, you investigated that thing. Oh, yeah.
You put my friend away.
Yeah.
He deserved it.
Yeah.
He was a piece of work.
Yeah. I mean, you seem like not crooked, so I think that's probably fair.
Well, they're still early days.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I was slightly worried when you said Hux has a crowbar and he's going to visit a friend. I was like, oh my god, he's going to beat a man to death. He's just got out of prison. He's going to batter a man.
In my mind, I was kind of like, am I actually making a joke about him breaking his friend out of prison? I'm like, oh, that might be a bit difficult early game.
Great.
You can't go to prison if you're dead.
Cool. Is that everything?
Yeah, that is
Nice. So join us next Monday for the next one. Wednesday, Simba Room. Saturday, 22nd of October, Cyborg one shot. And come and join us on socials and Discord and say hello. And thanks for watching. And we'll catch you next week.